guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the top 5 coolest travel and adventure memories that I have. So I'm going to be starting from number 5 and working up to number 1. And for the first one, number 5, it's going to be in Nashville. So I went to Nashville with, they were almost like 2 complete strangers because I had never hung out with them or like really met them before. We went to the 1989 World Tour, and we dressed up, and we each made our own like complete outfits and posters and had lights all over us, and we were vlogging all day. I think I actually have that vlog on my channel. If I can find it, I will link it below. And we were like running around screaming. We had so much energy because Taylor Swift is literally like my favorite artist of all time. And we were in our seats. We actually walked downstairs to get to our seats instead of walking up them like I usually do. And we were sitting there waiting for the concert to start. We sat through the first 2 opening acts, and then someone came and tapped my friend's shoulder, and they were like, "Hey, come out like into the hallways or whatever of the arena. I need to talk to you for a second." So we were like, "Okay, like let's go, like whatever, you're a stranger, but I bet you have good news." And we went out, and she was like, "Hey, so Taylor Swift's mom has seen you guys from the pit and all your lights and stuff, and she's inviting you to come and sit down in the pit with her and enjoy the show from a closer view." And literally, it was the coolest, like, best experience ever, because we were sitting there with all of these other Taylor Swift, like, fans. Sorry, my heater just kicked on. Sitting there with all the other Taylor Swift fans, just, like, screaming and going crazy. We all had lights. And Taylor was literally like right there, and I could make eye contact with her, and I was standing right next to her mom and her best friend, who was in the song 15 Abigail. So she was there too, and it was literally like they were singing to each other, and it was awesome. So that would be number 5 in Nashville, Tennessee. Number 4, this past May I had a trip to California to run a half marathon there, and we went up to Avenue of the Giants, which is near the redwood forest, which are those huge trees. And they started the half marathon kind of on this highway, and you ran straight like on the Avenue of the Giants, and you were just surrounded by all of these trees. And so as you're going, and we like started the race, we were just running, and all you could hear, like, no traffic, no wind, no animals, because all these huge trees were just like noise barriers, and all you could hear were like the people beside you like breathing, and just their feet like as you're like running. And it was literally like the most peaceful like run that I've ever been on, with like so many like happy people. We were in such a beautiful place. It's something that I've never seen before. I'm from Ohio, so like all of that was new, and it was just gorgeous. Like, I love that. Favorite race that I've ever like run, hands down. Number 3, a couple of years ago, me and some of my sorority sisters went down to the Florida Keys for, it was kind of like a winter break vacation. Once we were there, we were staying in one of my friend's grandparents' condo, and so they had a car, and so we had a car when we were down there, and we drove down to the Florida Keys, the very, very last one, Marathon Key, and we met up with her like friend of a friend of a friend, and he had like this big house on the water with a boat, and all of us, I think we were like 19 and 20, and so we like met up with him, complete stranger to the like majority of us there, but he was like, "Yeah, let's go for a ride on my boat." So we were like, okay. So we got on the boat, and we were like having fun, listening to music. We were all drinking all day. Don't do that when you're not of age, but we were out there on the water, and we were just going up and down on all the waves, listening to like the best like electronic-y music, and we were literally just like having the time of our lives. Like, I remember like we have all these pictures of just the good times, and we like stopped out in the middle of the ocean and went snorkeling, and we could see like this big like shipwreck like boat on the ocean floor, and there were like sharks down there, and it was like I probably sound crazy, but it was the like most fun, like one of the best experiences I've ever had, because like I was just there with like all of my best friends. And we were all literally like, just like, you know, we had just finished the semester and we had so much stress and stuff built up, and we were just, you know, having such a great time. Like, none of us had ever like been there before. Like, this strange man was just taking us on the boat, and it was just it sounds crazy, but it was like such an adventure. And you know, we drove back to the condo that night, and we were all just like, you know, like laughing the whole time, saying like, wow, that was like literally one of like my top 3 best days of my entire life. And it still is, even all these years later. Like, that is like such a fun memory for me. Number 2, I went to Arizona. I guess it was last December, I want to say, of 2016. And I went there to run a half marathon. I went with my dad and my brother. My sister got stuck in Colorado in her plane like layover situation. She never actually ended up showing up. But it was it was supposed to be the trip to celebrate my dad's 25th state of running a half marathon in. And so we were all super pumped about it, and we made a big deal to go to Arizona together. We landed in Phoenix, and I planned the whole trip on Instagram, and I actually have a video for that. I'll link it below. But we went to this, I guess it was kind of like this park that had, I think it was called, I don't know what it was called. I'll link it below. But it was this big horse ranch, and we were there in December, which is the off season for all the horses. It's the off season from like busy season when people would usually travel to Arizona. And sorry, I have like a fuzzy thing floating around. It's the off season from when people usually travel there and, you know, go horseback riding. And so we like pulled up to this little like place in the middle of nowhere, and had a little like a little building. It's not even like a huge building. It was like one room with just a desk in it, and all these horses. And so we pulled up, and you know, we were just standing there petting horses. No one was there. No other cars were there. And we were just like, okay, well, what's going on? And this guy walks out of nowhere, and he's like, hey, do you want to ride some horses? And we were like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just here cleaning everything up. Let me call the owner. So the owner drives over, and we rent horses for each of us to ride through the desert. It was like the middle of the afternoon, completely quiet, so like warm, and we were just like horseback riding through the desert. And he was like telling us all of these like stories about the horses and the area and how they started it, and it was so cool. It was just my dad and my brother, and then the guy who was touring us. And I just remember like riding the horse. Like, I don't ever ride horses, but I was riding the horse, and I was like, this is seriously so cool. Like, Arizona desert, like in the middle of nowhere, is so much different than like what I'm used to in Ohio. And it was like the best. Number 1 top coolest adventurous memory while traveling is going to Germany and going to go on top of, I think it was the 2nd tallest mountain there. And I love mountains. We got to ride up on this like cable car thing, and you know, we were dressed for like snow with our boots and our like coats and everything. It was the middle of summer in Germany, and we got up there and it was hot. It was so funny because we were all completely dressed the wrong way, but it was gorgeous. I remember like going out on the, like, there's like an overlook thing. I was staying there with my cousin, and we could like talk German to each other because we were both like learning the language. And I remember like going with my other cousin and like hiking these like trails, like paths on the mountain, and like going through these caves and everything. All that is in a video. I will link down below. The whole trip is from Germany, but it was literally so much fun. I was just there with extended family, and you know, we just laughed the whole time, and it was literally the best. Like, it was the most gorgeous view that I've like ever seen, and I still have like all those pictures, and I'm like, wow, that was such a gorgeous day. But I loved it. So those are my top 5 best travel memories. It was actually very difficult to come up with them because I don't know why, but it was. I have the top 3. I've known those for a long time, but getting 4 and 5 are pretty difficult. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like this or more story times with traveling, comment down below and let me know. If you have cool memories from traveling, or you have a video similar to this, comment down below and I will go check it out because I like learning about other people's experiences while they're traveling too. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. and subscribe to my channel to check out some of my other videos. Remember that the ones I talked about will be linked down below. Thanks guys! Bye!